Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Popcorn, movies, friends.
I love the memory of popcorn.
The memory of popcorn. That sounds like some sort of new keto food you should make, where it's like the essence of popcorn. What could you do?
Pecans, I think.
Pecans, and try to make them kind of buttery tasting?
I think you chop them up a little bit. They've got you can get them close to pretzels and popcorn, I think.
All right. There you go. That's a free tip.
Is there anything that the keto world hasn't figured out how to get around?
Cocaine.
Oh, well, yeah.
Pure granulated sugar. We're doing staff picks. This week is Andy's pick.
I feel so bad for those people who have celiacs because they can't do cocaine.
Oh, yeah. You like at Christmas time when everybody gives you that big bag of cocaine?
Until we come up with that alternative.
Yeah. Finally.
On it.
What can't
Probably going to have almond flour in it.
What can a cauliflower do?
What can't a cauliflower do?
What can't it do? Nobody here knows.
It can't not do nothing.
So many I can't even figure that out. Too many negatives there. I don't know where it bounces out at.
We didn't come
I was a figure eight negatives.
Yeah. We didn't come here to talk about grammar and diets.
Talk about cauliflower, aren't we?
We came here to
It's cauliflower cast.
So we usually do, if this is your first episode, if anybody came over from a Dead Guy, I was just on a Dead Guy show on YouTube. So a Dead Guy Productions or ADG Productions.
You just said if anybody came over from a
Dead Guy? But if anybody did,
just us worms.
We usually talk about fantasy sci-fi horror films, but we're doing staff picks as we do January of every year to kick things off.
Mm-hmm.
We all have birthdays this month.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy's pick this week's main attraction
was my butt crack.
It was Andy's butt crack. We just stared into it for 90 minutes.
It's my underwear, so I got to pick it.
It had quite the twist.
Yeah, his underwear were twisted.
I didn't see that coming. I won't spoil it yet.
I was debating between my butt crack and my nose, but I picked my butt crack.
You can pick your butt crack and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your
maybe
friend's
next
butt
year.
It's nose.
Maybe next year for nose.
But you picked a movie called Pride, which I hadn't heard of.
Not the swimming movie.
Not. There's a swimming movie called Pride.
It's there's a swimming movie. It's about African American swim team, I believe.
Oh,
Huh. I guess it's a good title.
Well, I had not heard of either.
Very bland title.
It doesn't really say much.
It could be about lions.
Yeah, it could be. But what is Pride about? Just a quick. What's your one sentence?
Gays
And
minors.
Mm-hmm.
The
lesbians.
coal miners, not
the kind
ER
that
miners.
gays are grooming.
Yeah, not the kind we're grooming. This is so you can see those.
Well, they are kind of grooming these minors a little bit, I feel.
Yeah, to become politically liberal.
Yeah.
To become more understanding, empathetic people. But we'll talk about it.
It's more like a I love the solidarity message behind it, which is something like when we get into this, there's like a lot of things that our politics have kind of lost since the 80s.
Very sweet movie. Super duper sweet movie.
Yeah.
Give me diabetes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's about the sweetest thing I've seen in a while. Agreed. I'm going to be talking about a movie called Significant Other for Roulette, which I really
Was
enjoyed.
it significant or insignificant? Oh.
It was significant. It was very significant.
It was substantial?
It was. It had a lot of substance. It was,
Ample?
It was a tight little package of movie.
Mm.
It was good. But yeah, man. So how's everybody's life outside of the podcast?
Good.
Glowing.
We're just
effulgent.
New year, new me. No, same old. New year, same me.
Yeah.
I work with somebody who always says, "Living the dream."
Working hard.
You know, it's that New Year malaise, that post holidays kind of like, ugh.
Did this person on the week before you guys like the New Year? Do you say see you next year?
Oh
no.
Okay, this seems like that type.
I believe
of
if you said that sort of thing.
It's not.
You get your ass kicked for saying something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I still only have one arm.
Yeah, so we're living that one arm dream.
And Amy's doing a whole lot of work around here, and God bless her.
Mostly Andy's bringing us food.
Andy brought us
She's doing the work of 3 arms.
Yeah.
She does have to chop all the firewood, stack it.
Yeah, all of those things. Like she has to beat the clothes, and she has to go down the river and wash them with the rocks. All the things I normally would do.
Plus her marketing job.
Yeah, slaughter take the pigs to market and slaughter them when they get home.
Yes, sir.
That's their marketing job, taking the pigs to market for slaughter.
I have to bring home the bacon and fry
marketing.
Oh,
marketing hogs.
It's hard to be me right now, but it just makes me have these questioning moments where don't worry, I have one more therapy session before I'm going to take a therapy break because I feel good. But I feel like a piece of shit when I'm like, God, work is so busy, and then I got to do all this extra stuff around the house, and then I just got my like regular life. When is there time for Amy? And I'm like, bitch,
you shouldn't feel bad
there
about
are
wanting
people
time. Amy
out there
time.
with kids. There are people out there.
But this is you live your existence.
This is my.
It's very nice.
Your truth.
It's very nice of human beings to have empathy and say, well, other people have it worse. That is a beautiful thing. But I want to encourage us all to also love yourself. You're important too. If you know,
I do
care
every day.
about yourself.
Sometimes twice a day.
It's hard to love myself with this left hand.
Hey, we don't fall in that trap of like
I know
the other people. They say, "Oh, well, at least you don't have kids."
I'll just have my therapist remind me one more time, and then I'll be solid. But it is something that like caught up with me over the weekend, where I thought I was sick on Saturday. Like we were supposed to go to our grandniece's
first birthday
party. And I'm like, I can't move. I am sick. There's something wrong with me. I'm congested. I can't keep my eyes open. I'm like uncomfortable and pissy.
You piss yourself?
No, but I was being pissy. And like, I just couldn't even. And that means Freddie can't go to the party because his pants don't like to stay on him.
And my nose was running too. There was a bit of paranoia about spreading something. I feel okay. I don't even know. Man, that's
I see you, Andy.
Yeah. I can't keep him out. I can't let him go out in the world without somebody to keep his pants up for him when they start to fall. I missed it.
Is your refrigerator running, Andy?
Oh, Lord.
I got 5-pound balls.
No, you guys missed it. You guys missed it. I was there for it though. So
I was living over here,
beautiful
in the world of not joking. Instead,
sorry, I'm that guy that says "see you next year."
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's a great joke.
So a bunch of my middle-aged musician friends, some who some that I was in a band with, and a few that weren't in the band, we're all getting together to play some music, and I'm hoping, Kelley, you feel better soon with the foot, that you can make.
You're a middle-aged man.
Who's going to be there? That's gonna really depend on that.
No, it's
probably more than my foot.
Pretty fun group.
Oh, is it Ringo and Paul and?
I'm kind of kidding.
You don't really have to list it here.
I'll tell you later.
Don't know.
You text me a list.
It's really like it was one of the guys we all know.
Yeah.
We have history of all these guys. They're all good guys. And
good guys.
They put together like a list of some 90s high school stuff that they want to just get together and kind of play around with, have some fun. One of them got a new bass guitar. You know how
the guys are going to get together in somebody's basement.
It's going to be like an ad for like some sort of medicine, like an arthritis medicine is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
All of us are going to be there and be like, oh, man, I can go back to doing things I enjoy. And then we're all going to be like, my diaper's not even remotely full.
Middle-aged diapers? Damn, life has treated you harshly.
We're all...
that's actually the brand name, middle-aged diapers. And But people call the generics those too.
Yeah, but it's funny because you think it's one thing, but it's really because it's a King Arthur themed packaging.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
That's right.
nary a drip or drop of mine effluence has escaped here. Thus the Lady of the Lake has awarded me Excalibur. Middle-aged diapers from the makers of Renaissance Rectum Squeeze to help you with your continence.
You know Rectum Squeeze. I love that product.
If somebody's squeezing your rectum, something bad is going on.
Yeah.
We're good.
What?
No,
Or good.
Isn't your rectum kind of
It's your butthole, right?
Your rectum
is up in there?
It's inside, and it is. I think it's very resilient as long as you're not being abrased. You don't want to be squeezed from the outside, like around there. But if you're being squeezed from the inside,
that would be more of a.
It's
If
up to
you
you.
squeeze something from the inside, you're making something expand. It's not really a squeezing motion. What
You can
would that
squeeze
be?
anything.
Stretching it.
Wait,
Stretch
what are
your
we
rectum.
talking?
Well, you have
You
to-
said rectum squeeze. We
We're
went with
talking
your
about
joke.
the drug's called rectum squeeze.
Oh.
You take it and it undoes what all the stretching did.
Oh, like that old man that had that World War II shell up his asshole.
What?
You can use the rectum. You guys didn't hear about this?
No,
Did he find it in the field and just say, I'm going to sit on this?
I think so.
someone's getting.
he was trying to
notifications.
hatch it
Someone's
like an
getting a lot of
egg.
It's
notifications.
my fucking computer, my work computer. Why do
Mute that shit.
I'm working on it? But
Put a pillow over it.
the man,
Where was it? Where did this man live?
you know,
Do you know?
no, somewhere.
Shellington.
Is it Florida? It sounds Florida.
No,
Shell
no, I don't
Beach?
think it was. Well, it wasn't here.
Pennsylvania.
Because where would you find unused?
Oh, like Europe or something, where the war was.
Somewhere in Europe.
He lived in Unfortunato, Italy. Whoopsie Daisy, Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sexually pleasing himself with this fucking shell. And it was big.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I don't even remember why I told you that story.
Did he measure the shell from the right place? Because if you measure it from the blast cap, you get like a couple extra inches on it.
Yeah.
So, is there a possibility he could have exploded?
Was it alive?
I think they had to call the bomb squad when they realized what it was before they could, like, how they could
This
take it
doesn't
out.
sound true.
I saw
believe
it
you,
on the
but I'm
internet.
just saying it doesn't sound true.
They've other podcasts I listened to had their own banter about it. I feel like it could be true.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's how the deep state gets you.
Andy made us stuffed shells. That's ironic, because this guy was stuffed with a shell. You know, when you think about it.
Oh, it's fate.
Yeah.
Everything's
Synergy.
Synergy.
What
The
do you
universe is listening.
Do you just do ricotta when you stuff a shell?
Yeah.
It's just ricotta. I wasn't sure.
Ricotta.
I never made stuffed shells
Got
myself.
to say it like Gia De Laurentiis.
Oh, okay.
Parmigiano Reggiano.
Reggie Parmesans. Wanted in 3 systems
That's right.
for crimes against the syndicate. I got a green screen, Kelly.
Oh,
Won't
me
you,
too.
You come play with me. We'll play together.
Okay, so
Can you green screen yourself sitting on a shell?
a stuffed shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, a stuffed shell.
That's
I
gonna
think
be
that's more about having the shell and the rectum for it as opposed to having a screen.
So we have a Patreon if you want to support what we're doing here. Or if you want to find a way to try to hack it and take money away for some of this, I understand. But
Why would you steal from the poor? That's low down.
Patreon.
We're not
yeah.
Elon Musk here.
We are very poor. But that's why Andy's feeding us. He's like, he's an outreach. Everything that Andy does for us is part of his court-appointed outreach program.
He's Meals on Wheels.
Court-ordered.
I make meals for one-armed people.
Yep. But Patreon's how we pay the bills. And thank you, everybody who supports us. Patreon.com/NOTLP. And there's lots of extra stuff there. Origins will be a little late this week.
You're going to get it.
But you will get it. It's always kind
And
of
it's gonna be a solo.
like this. It's always a little busy.
Get it.
You're gonna get it. It's gonna be a solo.
No, do it with Alise.
So,
Oh, that would be
or
fun.
yeah, well, she,
if she wants
I'll
to.
try to
I
get
mean,
her.
don't
to
make
listen.
her.
make
Like,
them
I would
make her
never.
do it.
No, you don't have to. Like, consensually, please.
Like, leave a trail
She
of
may have-
candy that leads to a microphone.
See what happens.
I'll see what happens.
It's where we put all of our bonus content, patreon.com/NOTLP. We skipped Topicana last week, which was totally my fault. Busy week, guys. Busy week.
Yeah.
But we're
It was.
gonna get there. Do we want to do a really quick answer to Freddie's question that he posed to us?
We can save it for the next time.
Or you're gonna save it?
It's that there's. It's a big involved thing.
Oh, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Never mind.
Freddy's
Everybody.
like, don't take my
I never
questions.
fucking said it.
It's hard to come up with the questions.
It is hard to come up with
We
questions.
can't
at
just
this point.
waste them like that.
Yeah. You're like the person.
You want to take my? Do you want to fill it? Do you want to keep your turn since I screwed up the origins orger, and you could do yours when we do it this week?
It doesn't matter, or you can have the question. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean,
I don't want to take your question. That's
Let's
not.
decide
save
it right
it.
here for the
We'll
next
save it.
15 minutes.
we're going to save that question. I'm going to go ahead and tease the question. So if you want to know what sort of things we do on Topicana, it's these sort of things. And my question was, what modern convenience, if you had to give up one, whether it be like air conditioning, heat, washing machine, any of that sort of thing, if you had to cut
Boner
it out,
massager.
yeah, what would be the your Middle Ages diapers, any modern convenience that you think you could live without? And then we're going to get in the nitty gritty of that whenever we do that episode. But we've done all kinds of stuff in the past. We've had questions of all sorts, crazy shit, even thought provoking.
Very
We laughed.
thought provoking.
You know, we get conversations going.
Quit provoking those thoughts. Leave them alone.
We've
Yeah.
subverted.
Poor
We've
hoes
disrupted.
over there.
They're just being hoes over there. Just leave them alone.
Thought disruptor.
We've conformed. We've non-conformed.
We've definitely not gonna work.
Andy, you could start like a whole TikTok called Thought Disruptor where you jump into people's shots of them twerking on stairs and stuff in fancy restaurants.
So that's very hard because I have to seek them out. What are the odds I'm going to find somebody just twerking?
You just need to
in the
follow a
open?
bunch of thoughts, and then you make one of those maps like they do in serial killer movies with the red twine to triangulate when they're going to strike next. And you can be like, oh, then I see that Tekashi 6ix9ine's coming to town. I guess I should be in the parking lot for that.
You pull that out of your ass.
Freddie's
You're like,
I'll use that app.
are
I said I would use that app.
Yeah. Thought Disruptor.
Freddie's references are
Scattered.
they're weird.
My
High
experience,
concept.
my experience is very limited to what happens between my piano bench and my recliner these days.
It's a very small universe.
My universe is
Basically.
very small.
The Who Day needs to be said.
Who
Yeah.
day?
AFC North, baby. Back to back.
That's right.
Ravens fans are salty.
Are they? Because they lost.
Not because they lost. They're just salty. I never had.
It's because they're so close to the Chesapeake Bay.
That's
All
what it
that
is.
salty air.
Dear Baltimore Ravens fans, I found out that the Bengals subreddit and lots of other subreddits call you guys the rat birds.
They're not very well liked, the Ravens.
So we're
fandom.
going with rat birds. And you guys are rats. Fuck you.
And birds.
And birds.
That sounds.
Although as a horror fan and an Edgar Allan Poe fan, I love the name. I think it's
Yeah.
great. I think it's so cool. But fuck you, rat birds.
That I mean,
Right.
as being inspired by Edgar Allan Poe, it's appropriate that they should mope a lot, though.
Yeah.
I mean, when
Cry
you think
more.
about it, you know, it just seems thematically consistent.
I have just
Which is what they're going for usually in the NFL.
The NFL.
for
That's
sure.
why our guys dress up as tigers.
And they eat raw meat before the games.
They clean themselves like cats.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome seeing Joe Burrow just lick
Yeah.
his arm. Like,
they should do. Man, they were doing all kinds of celebrations yesterday. They should have thrown
They were,
some Kit Kats in there.
It was funny.
They were well choreographed, those
that's a good
guys. They
topic,
got plenty of time.
yeah, they went all.
They got plenty of time to not practice and choreograph routines.
They went carrot top on us for one of the celebrations. Props and
Yeah.
Props.
I love it when they bring in props.
Which is for sure going to get a fine, is what I was reading.
Oh yeah,
I
it's worth
don't
it.
care.
I mean, if I were in the NFL and I knew I'd get a tape of my entire team doing a giant rowboat together or sleeping.
No, it was a roller coaster.
Any of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, for example. By the way, I think a topic that would be fun is tell me your end zone celebration.
Oh shit!
But
no, you have to do it. We have to film it.
We have to videotape
it would become like the Aristocrats.
We'll use our green screens, Kelley. We'll put up
That's a delay of game right there.
The stadium behind
Stopping
you.
and then setting up your green screen and your cameras.
You don't need a green screen on the field. You just use the you lay down,
okay.
And they have those cameras that hang from the wires.
You need
that
like a
come
drone
over.
or something.
Yeah, you just have to do everything laying down. Like a 1,000-pound sister does it.
Just one sister?
I swear, Freddy's, because he's one-armed and, he can't do a lot. So there's a lot of TV watching.
1,000-pound sisters is one of the things.
He would judge me for the trash I like to watch.
Well, I don't watch it until
when I'm watching my big fat gypsy wedding on TLC for the third hour.
When it gets to a point, when I start feeling that when it hits that point of exploitation or something, which it hits immediately from the gate, so I don't know why I'm justifying this or rationalizing, but like that's when I'm usually like, it's time for me to turn away. Like if I have to watch someone get a bath, I understand when you weigh that much that you need someone to wash you, and that's cool. You should have your dignity, but I also want to know, like, how's that life?
I don't think it's good.
You're all about that life.
He's laughing at me.
But he doesn't want anybody to know he's laughing right now, I think.
Do you have some more empathy since you're kind of lame right now?
Oh, dude, I have always had empathy for great... I started to say great fat people.
Do you want...
that was a sentence that canceled itself right out.
To bray laughter all over Freddy's description is all I was trying.
Oh, no, I have a lot of empathy for people who are in that situation because I think there's so many components. There's this huge genetic component. There's a psychological component to it. So like the humanity of it isn't lost on me, but at the same time, I love the circus. You know what I mean? Like there's that part of me that will not die. I try to smother it in like good intentions and good taste.
It's all of our instincts to rubberneck.
Yeah. So,
that's why certain subreddits exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To fulfill our basest desires.
Yeah, it's true.
NSFL, that's the one nice thing.
Not safe for life.
I don't know about that.
For when you think the world's just too good of a place.
I don't ever think that.
Like my old E-bombs world.
Rotten.com.
I needed my E-bomb scratched.
Yeah, I understand.
If it's itching, I think you need to see it.
Although I do feel like it went from like a world of where you could go out on the internet and find anything to a world where anything and everything was force fed right into your eyes and ears and mouth. And like, so now it's almost like not even a treat anymore, rotten.com, that sort of thing, which would have been kind of a diversion.
Treat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Treat myself today and watch a guy blow his head off. In front of a room full of people.
Hey, treat yourself.
You've come a long way, baby.
I was good today. I stayed on my diet. I stay within my points. I'm going to watch it, dude.
I need autopsy pictures. I needed to see that. The aftermath of jumping off the building.
Yep. Oh, my God. Children of the 80s, we had it, I like to say that, like, we had culturally, it was such a gentle time in a way that, like, I think we were more drawn to the...
Hey, we grew up on Faces of Death.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Faces of Death was like this thing you had to kind of struggle to get. So you had this weird fascination and appreciation for it.
And I believe all that was real, too. Yeah. Even though some of them clearly were reenactments.
6 camera angles.
How they mic them up so well?
This person's home video is out of control. It's off the chain. Anywho, I don't really have anything else for the beginning. I didn't really have anything to begin with. I just rambled. I'm sorry.
That's what the opening's
That's
for.
what we do here.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's the show, yeah.
I'm unsure of things. I'm just sitting in a chair all day.
Watching 1,000-Pound Sisters.
Actually, most of what I'm watching are like weird movies that I've missed that I didn't have time for before. I've watched so many strange movies. So much so that like I can't get hard for a regular movie anymore, hardly at all.
You need some strange?
Yeah, I need I'm like, this does not have nearly as many hallucinations in it as the last movie I watched, or this ending makes sense. Or this character is not damaged enough. This thing didn't send them into a spiral like it did in that A24 I started. This person just coped with it. But that's what's nice about your pick, Andy, this week, Pride. It's the antithesis of all those movies that I've been watching. It made me feel good.
Make you feel good.
Make me feel good.
It made me feel good.
You were Halle Berry, and the movie was Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah. It was just like a Billy Bob Thornton came in here and put me on my living room floor.
That's a very obscure reference. That's to Monsters Ball, if you don't know. And Freddie likes to say...
Is Monsters Ball obscure?
It's like...
Didn't she win an Academy Award for that?
But I don't think a lot of people have seen it. They just know that she's...
I think a lot of people have seen that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's seen that.
I don't think I have ever seen the movie or the scene.
Oh.
And I think they really did it. Anyway.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor of a lot of those kinds of scenes.
But it's debunked.
Well, now
see,
we have
again,
to
Reddit will debunk things for you, and his balls, man. It really is.
Those are definitely Billy Bob's balls, I think.
Billy Bob.
I'll give you that much. I'm just saying,
they're pulling.
Yeah.
They're pulling somewhere.
I think his penis was taped to his belly, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they did it. But here's the thing. They have these intimacy coordinators on these movies where
now.
I think then they did too.
I don't know.
They did, but if you want to hear the scuttlebutt on which ones are real and which ones
we'd have to rent it. Oh, we'll check the internet.
So I guess the question would be when's the director called? I mean, do you let him finish, or is it all right, cut? And he's like, okay,
I don't know, Freddie.
Trailer.
I'm not a director, and I have never directed one of these. I'm just telling you.
Give me a second. Let me get out of Halle Berry, and I will go back to my trailer.
Our extra mile. That's where they bandy these, and there's no proof. I mean, sometimes there is when it's clearly real, like a lot of European films. But
all right,
it's a fascinating subject.
It's a debate of the day.
Well, just the whole idea that a performer, that's really you're just I'm in 100%. That's divine level commitment, and I mean divine as in the John Waters,
the drag queen,
eating dog poop scene.
That's Brown Bunny.
Yeah, Brown Bunny commitment. But they were a couple already. I think it's more awkward if it's somebody who you're punch
nice
the clock. Hey, by the way, how do you guys want to do this? I'm just thinking bend her over and fuck her, and they're like, okay, that works. We'll do it last Tango in Paris style. Get a stick of butter. Movies are crazy, man. What a crazy industry.
Man.
I never had a day at work like that. Never once.
I know, you fall off the deep end when you end your sentence with man.
Man. We should move on.
Yeah,
we spent half an hour bullshit. Yeah. You sound like the penguin. You did that.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for straight to video Russian roulette.
What happened to you? I don't remember.
Before I knew you, I didn't really know what I wanted in life. And then I met you and I feel like I'm going somewhere. And I don't even know where, but I just know I want to go there with you.
You ready to tell us what happened to you? Were you alone?
I said I don't remember.
I think something's really wrong with her.
What I'm trying to say is, you're my person, Ruth.
So I'm bringing the trailer down for a reason right now. It's I don't encourage you to see the trailer for this. Just watch the movie. It's totally worth it. It's called Significant Other. It's on Paramount Plus. It came out in October. It's Maika Monroe, who is great. Mm-hmm. I forgot how great of an actress she is.
She's becoming quite the scream queen.
She
was in that Watcher that Kelly hated.
Oh, I don't remember that. It was bad, huh? Was she good in it at least?
It's hard to say. It's hard to judge her on that material.
Well, this is very, very good. It's Mike Monroe, Jake Lacey, and it's mostly the two of them. The bulk of the movie is they carry it. And they're going hiking in the Pacific Northwest. Mike's character is Ruth, who is suffering from a lot of panic attacks and anxiety. She's a surfer. That's just a little piece of background that you get in the beginning about her. It's not really a major part of the story.
Michael Monroe was a surfer before she became an actress.
She was a kite. She was like a professional semi-pro, like kite.
Something.
She did some sort of kite thing, water kite, aqua kiting. I don't know what they call it, where they fly the kites on the beach and it's like competitive somehow.
Oh yeah,
that's a nice little character thing that they added for her.
Yeah, and it's not just a throwaway thing. Like everything in this movie does have a purpose, but Jake Lacey, who plays Harry, who is her boyfriend.
I just looked him up. That's Pete from The Office, remember?
Yeah.
Like they try to make the new Jim.
He's so good. He's so great. This guy, he reminds me of our friend Troy Sauer, who does Not a Bomb podcast. If you haven't listened to that, it's a lot of fun.
The kid from the hot tub time machine?
No, the other one from The Office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, because that kid he's on both. The kid with the glasses?
No, this guy. I'll just show you a picture, Kelly, in the Zoom.
All right. At this time, all listeners, you're going to Google and look at a picture.
I got you.
Jake Lacey.
No,
he was on season 1 of White Lotus.
There you go. I've not seen that show yet.
Heard good things, but significant other. They are going camping in the Pacific Northwest, like way out in the woods. And the opening is them kind of like him calming her down because he's like, she's never done this backpacking thing, and this is like real roughing it camping. It's just the two of them. It's super. If you've been, I've been to Lake Tahoe is the closest I've been to this type of environment. Super intimidating, redwoods and these trees that are just insanely tall, and you feel like you've gone back in time. And it's them hiking and them having these conversations, which are so real and well executed against this beautiful backdrop of the Pacific Northwest Ocean and forests and mountains and the cinematography. They do some in-camera stuff in this movie that is just like so beautiful but subtle. The story took turns that I did not seeing. I didn't see it coming at all. Like I watched the trailer for this and I was like, oh, that looks decent. And based on the trailer, I was expecting a very specific kind of horror movie, thriller type of movie.
Would it be a spoiler to say what the scary thing is? What makes it a horror movie?
Well, in the beginning of the movie, you see a shooting star. You see something fall out of the sky in the forest. That's your setup. And at first, that's the thing. I don't even want to spoil. This is a movie I feel like was not marketed very effectively. I don't think a lot of people know about it. So the less you know, the better. I think the experience is 1,000% worth it if you can take the time. I'm not saying it's like the greatest, thing I've seen.
That's 10 times 100%, Freddie.
Yeah, 10 times 100%. I'm just saying, like, if you are tired of the basic stuff that you get out of this kind of movie, this movie takes turns that were so refreshing and so many points. Just when I thought I knew where it was going, it would take another turn that I was like, that's great. And then it wrapped up. I felt great about the way it wrapped up.
And it's nice that it's good at taking turns, because that's the thing you should do. You learn early.
Yeah.
Take turns.
Not these dramatic knock you off your ass turns, but at Nintendo you should. What you're referring to, Kelly, I think is what we refer to as when my friend Elbert Cooley had an NES with the Robbie the Robot and Gyromite, and he would rather play with the robot than play a 2-player game with his friends.
Oh, people were stingy with that controller, even if it were a 2-player game.
Yeah, what's up with that? I mean, when you're Luigi and Mario, you just have to go back and forth, but that's part of the fun.
Sharing.
You're waiting. You're waiting for your turn.
Is caring.
This director team Dan Burke and Robert Olson. I'm kind of curious to watch some of their other stuff now. They did a movie called Villains and something called Body, which I don't know, how much those movies are similar to Significant Other, but if they are, I think I'm going to be digging into their stuff a little more. That's all I really have to say about it. I think it's just really great, so I think you should watch it.
Like Forrest Gump.
And that's all I got to say about that. Significant Other is like a box of chocolates.
It's interesting, like directing duos, that's like a trend now.
It seems like a good, it's a high pressure kind of job. I think having two people do it.
Do you get paid less than if there was one of you?
Oh, that's a good question. I think every time they get a job, it's negotiated, right? They probably don't have like a flat fee for directing a movie.
Like if you are a movie,
I'm a movie,
have a certain budget.
Let's say I'm a movie.
Seems to me that it would be more expensive, unless. Anyway, I get it. It's fine.
Yeah, it is a good question though. I mean, there's always an assistant. Almost always, not always, but there any movie of this budget.
Second unit director.
Yeah, there's going to be, if they require another, second unit or more, like you have all those people, they're doing the same job. They're just doing it in a different place or different hours. So I don't know. Director is a weird.
Speculating about things I know nothing about.
We give too much credit
to a director.
To a director for something that requires.
You hear that, directors?
So many people. Although I respect the director job is like a big thing. It's like, there's a reason that all these producers and writers and fight to get their chance to direct something. It's because I think the difference really boils down to you're the last word. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why they all want it, is because they're like, it'll be done my way because I know best. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's a bunch of people trying to make something happen. So I don't know about director duos. Like I think if they bounce, because these are also, they wrote it. So to me, I think these creative teams, to me, I love a creative team. Yeah. I think when you have two people bouncing ideas off of each other like that, a great example are the guys who did Swiss Army Man.
And Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Right. Having them.
The Safdie brothers, they're directing duo.
Are they? They're not really brothers, right? They are. Oh, they are really brothers. So I just love the idea, like there's something about having that sounding board built into your process every time.
Yeah. The Soska sisters.
Yeah.
The Russo brothers. They directed the Marvel.
Avengers, yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Freddie.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
So next week, one of us that isn't Freddie will be watching Burial.
Oh, Burial.
It's on Shudder.
Burial's Wedding.
Kelly, I was thinking that
Burial.
same thing.
In the last days of World War II, a band of Allied soldiers trafficking Hitler's remains out of Germany are ambushed by Nazi werewolves.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot going on, but I'm kind of, I like the sound of it.
It's got the kid who played Draco Malfoy in it.
Is he a Nazi?
Yeah.
They're not going to stop.
He looks like a Nazi.
He would play.
They're not going to stop making these Nazi horror movies.
He's been typecast as a villain.
Do you feel like they're like Nazis aren't mean enough? Let's also make them werewolves.
Hey,
or werewolves aren't mean enough. Let's also make them Nazis.
If we can keep making content that shows Nazis being hurt and wrong, I think it's probably good for the culture right now.
But then there's going to be these guys who watch it and they're like, I like the Nazis better. I like the Nazi werewolves better. I'm going to sympathize with them and buy the T-shirt. And then it's going to become a meme and I'm going to use it on 4chan.
Could be. All right.
Here we go. Let's see who's doing this thing.
Spin the wheel.
Touch it.
Spinning the wheel.
Spinning the wheel. It's me. I'm watching it and talking about it next time.
Boom.
Boom shakalaka.
Amy's fifth
and Ghost the Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys, give me just 1 minute. I'm a little slow because I only have one arm, remember?
Well, I have offered to do all of these things.
Well, then you would be like, how do I blank and how do I do this?
He's against, he's a director by himself. He's against
That's right.
duos for him.
I don't like a directing team.
No duos for me.
Guy. I like to do it my way. My way or the highway.
He's a Kubrick or a Hitchcock. He's
My way.
A monster.
You're a Kubrick.
With the strike now entering its 4th month and in the face of unprecedented violence, the government today insisted it will close 20 pits with the loss of over 20,000 jobs.
Without that pit, these villages are finished.
Mining communities are being bullied just like we are. What they need is cash.
Yeah, because the miners have always come to our aid, haven't they?
It doesn't matter. It's the right thing to do.
So we are going to pick a mining town completely at random.
Wales.
Die! Your gays have arrived!
Don't meet everybody. Name me the group you represent in this case.
Lesbians and gays support the miners.
I'm hoping you can clear something up for me about lesbians. It did surprise me.
Let them get settled in first, shall we?
Oh.
A gaggle of gays and lesbians has come out in favour of the miners' strike.
We've been backed up by perverts.
We've been through some of the same things you've been through. Look, we raised this money because we want to help you, and that's it.
Everything will be all right once they start to mix.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Get out there and find a gay or a lesbian right now.
I don't want to give them the wrong impression.
Right, because you're so bloody irresistible.
Every day they're out collecting for us.
What they're really doing is pushing their own agenda.
You better shut her mouth or I'm gonna do it.
That's enough. It's you lot, is it? The gays?
Yes, lesbians and gays support the miners.
What's going on?
Thank you. When you're in a battle against an enemy so much bigger, so much stronger than you, but to find out you had a friend you never knew existed, well, that's the best feeling in the world.
What I was told about lesbians can't be true, can it? You're all vegetarians.
You see what we've done here? By pledging our friendship, we've made history.
Sorry, this is a man only.
Oh, don't be that.
We want to see everything, even the rubber scene. Where are my lesbians?
What's this? God, that takes me back.
Don't those women ever sleep?
Would it be lesbians?
Oh, what's this then? It was a dildo.
That scene was kind of annoying to me.
The scene with the women.
Where they took over the gay club?
No, when they just went through that guy's personal belongings.
Oh, yes.
That was that's a little crazy, right?
That was everything else was fine, but that was still like an invasion of privacy. But we're putting the cart before the horse right now. But
yes.
So that's a little future discussion. But this movie is called Pride. For those who don't know what it's about the miners' strike in Great Britain. When was this? 84, 85?
84.
Yeah. And it's like the beginning of the gay rights movement too. And there's a lot of political turmoil in the 80s with Thatcher.
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, I don't know much about her, but apparently she's real bad.
Oh, yeah.
She was like it's like the Reagan era.
They were very similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
fuck him too.
A friendly sheen, but their policies were awful. So the miners are on strike and they're really struggling. They're facing pressure from the police and the media and just like the government. And there's this group of gays that decide to raise money for the miners.
Yeah, because they have no incomes. They're all striking, and which is so familiar to what a lot of the things that happen here.
Yeah. And part of the conflict comes when the miners, some of them don't want to accept the money because they don't want to be affiliated with a group. The gays, they're not very accepted. It's 84.
I am a straight woman, and I know I'm not allowed. But I think poofter and poof is so cute.
It is. What an adorable little slur.
I would love to be called a poofter.
It just makes me think of cotton.
Poof. You got to say like a British person. A poof.
A poof.
Yes. So part of the reason why I picked this movie is because it's going to sound sappy, but last week with like the Hamlin stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I just needed like a pick-me-up.
It's a great choice.
Just like a heartwarming, feel-good movie. And it kind of like, the themes in this movie kind of reflect what happened with the Bengals and the Bills. We all came together for a greater good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like these two groups that kind of like are again, like, are fandoms, like, we really want our teams to win, but we put everything aside to just come together for.
Also, I love the beauty of it, like underdogs coming together in particular. Like the whole point, right? Like with them choosing this as a cause was they just looked around at who else was being hassled by people with power.
Yeah.
It was literally like, who else is being hassled by these people?
I don't know anything about British politics of this era or this story at all, and I have not educated myself any further. But since watching it, I was a little. I was like, oh, this dude's like, you know what we should do? And he just starts getting money. He just starts calling lesbians and gays support the miners, and he was this. I don't know this character, this person, and who they were in real life. It was just seemed like so out of the blue.
See, like he was
watching, and they showed, at the beginning, they showed watching very intently the news and being clearly politically active and sort of passionate about just improving things. And then you hear it kind of later in later conversations too, when he's talking about like, you could do this for women, or you could do this for, a lot of people. So I think they were trying to get across in a very quick way that he was someone who wanted to, fight for people. And then he very kind of strong arm organizes his very close friends who are in the Pride March, including, I don't know if the kid is real or just for, storytelling's sake, but, the kid who kind of is at his first march and kind of being himself out in public.
Doesn't it feel kind of like the Almost Famous model? Like the Cameron Crowe, where it's through the eyes of the photographer, you know what I mean? Like, just like in that.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yes.
Where
I got you. Yes.
The kid who is basically not even really given a name as a character right away. He's just the audience, right? And then you have Mark, who is the leader of the group, Mark Ashton, who's a real person that this was based on, played by Ben Schnetzer, who's this young activist who passed away. What they said in '87, I think.
He was 26.
Yeah, from was one of the early HIV cases, and it's just wild. Yeah, you're right, Kelley. Like he's like when people say social justice warrior and they kind of shit on that idea. This is like an example. I felt like this is what a social justice warrior is. They look at the good way of looking at it, which is, I think, really the heart of what it's really about, and why the Labor Party and here in the Democratic Party in the United States used to be this thing.
Well, I hate that term has been weaponized.
Yeah.
Same thing with woke. Like when people use that, it's not like a good thing anymore.
Right.
And they're
Well, it's because some people honestly have screwed it up.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that screws it up is illustrated in this movie really well when the group gays and lesbians for minors, right, was what they call themselves, for the minors.
Lesbians and gays support the minors.
Support the minors. So when that group starts to fracture, you see
they
exactly.
said that a lot in the movie, so I remember it.
And then, but people say, well, we're lesbians for the minors, or the minors and lesbians working together, whatever. All these other groups, it's all about somebody. It illustrates that thing where it wasn't about the cause anymore, but about the recognition.
Well, and also everybody's kind of looking out for themselves in a way, but the movie is about, if you need help, I need help. We all lift each other up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's power in that too. Like, it's not even so, it's really not as far-fetched or as like pie in the sky for me. Like, even though this movie's super sweet, it still has like some credibility in that. Like, it is almost,
for sure. Oh yeah.
It's like a commercial for the Labor Party. This could be considered political propaganda, but it's very good, like Frank Capra level, awesome, really a good movie in and of itself.
Did you read the trivia said that actually that Mark guy was a pretty avowed communist.
Yeah.
But they toned that down for the movie because we're not supposed to like communists.
Well, I think at one point somebody even calls him a commie. But it's like but I didn't. I thought it was like a joking way. Yeah.
He was also, for all intents and purposes, kind of a kid. I mean, like this group, And
they're young, mostly.
Like the one elder.
You gotta
of the
be
group,
young to do stuff like this.
Was it Jonathan, that Dominic West character? He was great.
Gosh. It was McNulty.
Is he the dancer?
Yeah, he's the only. He's like the only one who's over 30 years old.
Yeah, he's kind of jaded too because he's older and he's been through it, and he sees that.
Yeah.
He's tried to make change, but he was up against so much more than the generation that he's growing up with now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like, let them handle it. I'm done.
Didn't it feel? Yeah. He was like my most relatable character in the movie for me.
Definitely. Yeah. I definitely related to him.
Because you like to dance, both of you?
Well, because there's a certain point in your life where you balance your political activism and beliefs with living.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seemed also like a relatable person. I don't know. Just personally, that was someone that I felt kind of moved by, and also, I just related to him. But yes, part of that is dancing. I love to dance.
We gotta get you back up and dancing soon, buddy.
I love
you
to
and
dance.
me, your foot, my arm. We could do some stuff where we just pound our chests like on. So you think you can dance?
Yeah, and then I kick my foot out.
You got to flex your foot.
Pound.
No pointed toes in this.
I'm so grateful for this movie, Andy, because I had still like retained anger and evil thoughts for Imelda Staunton based on Dolores Umbridge.
Because she's
Harry Potter.
That's how good of an actress that she is. She makes you hate the character so much.
I know
that you hate the actress too.
That when I saw her in this movie, I'm like, "Ooh, fuck that bitch, fuck that bitch," and then she turned out to be a delight, and now I can love her again. I can't go back and watch that Harry Potter movie though, because the cycle shall begin again. Yes.
Patty Considine, man, love him.
He's so great. Such a great face.
I love big casts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Nighy.
Science guy. I have to say it every time.
Yeah.
Was the implication about Bill Nighy's character that he was also maybe
he's
queer in some way?
There was a coming out scene when they're making sandwiches.
Did we miss that?
There was a weird jump in the commercial break. Like we watched this on.
It was on
Pluto.
Prime.
It was
on Prime.
It was Prime.
I told you guys that.
It was through It was like Tubi or something.
Well, I did this wrong.
No, remember we watched it on there too. It just went through Prime to get there. It's Prime, but like it's
commercials.
Prime
Did you guys
will
have
pull
commercials?
from these sources. You didn't have any commercials at all? Oh, God damn it.
I don't know what Prime y'all got.
Dude, we got
all right.
hit
I think
with commercials.
We might have missed a couple of
You
scenes.
got subprime?
So I missed the
No, there's a coming out scene.
The coming out scene.
They're making sandwiches for the miners, and Imelda Staunton and
I missed
Bill
that.
Nighy. They're just having conversation. He says like, "I'm gay." I can't do that.
I'm gay.
He was great. He was lovely. Everybody was so lovely. That woman who played Shan.
Oh, with the mullet lady.
This woman's mullet was atrocious. And listen, I know they were trying to probably be close.
People don't realize that the 80s were an ugly time.
Yeah, this is very accurate.
80s
hairstyle wise, for sure.
This looked like the 80s, definitely.
This moment, they put this poor woman in this mullet wig. Woo-wee! Anyway, I hope that wasn't her real hair and she cut that and had to live with that.
It was period.
I mean, she
accurate.
She looks like this in real life.
She was so lovely. I loved her character so much. I want to hang out with her.
All the characters were just it's such a lovable movie. It's just cute and sweet. That's the only.
It's very Schitt's Creaky. Like there is a kind of a villain character who tries to fuck it all up for everybody.
She was like the Mrs. Carmody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even
somebody throw a can of peas at her.
She's somewhat won over in the end because what are you gonna do?
She put Billy's dog in her spin cycle in high heat because it broke her snowman.
I would say if you need a movie where you need to feel the way that Schitt's Creek made you feel, or Parks and Rec.
Even more so, because I feel like one of the things I love about this is sort of the stakes. Like the stakes are high. Like these scenarios where when the LGSM get to the town and they're going to go out on stage, these blue collar Welsh miners, and like it could go in a lot of directions, and it turns it's like it's real enough too. And again, I know this all is based on real things, but they sweetened it a little bit, I think. But it's real enough. The people aren't just like woohoo right off the bat, but like the stakes are really high. But watching them people come together, watching that bro, accept that they got him out of jail and I'm going to buy a pint. It's very like it's a movie that wants you to believe in the salt of the earth.
They gave each other a chance too,
and that people are good.
The innate goodness of humanity.
Yeah.
Well, of some people.
Of most people.
And so that was I think it was it is like those shows for sure. There are a lot of feel good moments, but I think the stakes are even a lot higher.
And neither side shut down at any point. That's the thing I also love about it is like they very different groups of people, but there was never a point where one stalled out. They both made efforts to help each other. And like it could have easily been like, and I'm sure in real life it probably stalled out a couple of times here or there, but in the movie it felt really good to see them like very quickly it reminded me of that movie Gung Ho in a lot of ways too. Gung Ho. Where the Japanese auto workers,
Michael Keaton.
It's gonna sound like a leap, but it gave me some Lord of the Rings vibes.
Yeah,
because the gays and the miners, they're kind of like the
dwarves and the elves.
No, the two kingdoms coming together.
Yeah,
and like
Gondor and Rohan.
Yeah, they're like they have their own interests, but they all come together to fight a greater good.
Yeah.
And at the end, where at the parade happens, and the lesbians and gays from the miners, they're going to be put at the end of the parade. But at the very end, all the miners and all the lodges come together and come to support the group. And it reminded me of the Two Towers where at Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
And Éomer comes with Rohirrim, and they come down the mountain at the very end and just save the day. It was just like, and the Avengers Endgame.
Oh, fuck yes!
Where Captain America is standing against, I forgot his name already.
Thanos
by himself.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, all the Avengers come and
portals open
and save him. And that's like the end of the movie for me. It was like, it's just like a very triumphant, like, clap in the theater moment.
There's another message there too that I think is really, and I thought about this a lot after we went to Pride in Cincinnati, was this movie also kind of takes to task that they pushed all the political people. If you had a political sign, you had to go to the very end of the parade with what they called the fringe. Even though these people were technically at a pride parade, they were still taking politics out of it. And I feel like we've continued that trend where, not to be like a leftist weirdo or anything, but I do feel like...
here comes the commie.
I do feel like they suppress the like there used to be this united front I don't know how it is over there in Wales with the Labour Party, but I know here we had the Democratic Party stood for workers' rights and civil rights. And that was the two core things. And you once had to support the other. You needed each other because you were a small group here and a small group there. Together, you're a big group. Where you had all of the people who were opposed to those ideas were a monolith already, and there were more of them because it was easier. It's an easier kind of logical. It's just easier to kind of accept that ideology, I think, than it is that we all have a part to play supporting people we don't agree with or don't like, because we got to survive together. And like this movie, it was a lot of sugar to help that medicine go down, but I almost feel like that message is almost lost. But it's in there, and they have that tag at the end about the Labour Party, and they have the message about how they wanted the feel-good part of it, yes, but they don't want the actual politics leaking into the parade. And that bothered me, and it bothers me now, like with Pride, where we talk about all the corporate stuff where you're like, sure I understand. Siri doesn't understand either. I don't either. I don't either.
Well, I mean, this movie
is very like shiny and happy. They didn't go into deeper things, and that's fine for.
I'm super glad, man. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
No, that's terrible entertainment.
I think for a period of time, and I think the relevance to today, that message of don't forget this kind of solidarity message is good and clear and in there.
Yeah, as long as the message comes through.
I don't need to see
fine with some things being left out.
The reason that
more suffering for
the problem, the reason I had
community.
that reaction, and I can't fault the movie for this because it came out in 2014, but that's how we ended up with Trump. So like
this movie?
No. That idea that I just feel like you let the more liberal base crumble or become factions. Like that's the whole argument about special interest groups and stuff.
Like the Bernie Bros are like, you're not gonna support I'm gonna take my ball and go home.
Exactly.
We all need everybody's balls.
We need all of your balls.
We need your balls.
Yeah.
Did you feel like there was a little bit of magical gay?
There is. It's like
in this movie.
But like I'm fine with it. It's not that type of movie where we need to see every facet of gay lifestyles.
But the heroes were gay too, so it's not the same phenomena, I think, because had it been like a straight character,
like Amy said, it's very queer eye for a straight guy. It's like whitewash gays, but it's not that type of movie. I don't
probably also whitewashed minors in terms of not whitewash, but just to use the term, you're probably not seeing the real rough and tumble, people who were super hard opposed in larger numbers. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like it's good.
It's a great movie.
It's about love.
It's about love.
Like this
understanding.
That refining is, I think, what makes it a great movie. Because had all those things been in there, like you were saying, Kelley, it would have been just a dirge. It would have been really depressing and hard to digest. It would have been like
still ultimately inspiring, because that's kind of how I thought it was going to go when I just read the description, that it was going to be much harder.
Yeah.
And a lot harder to watch. So I was very pleasantly surprised.
It was soft for my soft boys out there.
I'm soft. I have a soft bottom
right now.
But at the end, when the scroll is like, they say what happened in real life, and they said that he died a couple days after he was diagnosed with.
That blew my mind.
And then it just said he was 26. That was like, oh my God.
Well, it just underscores the absolute fucking massacre that happened in the community at that time. And I think the pandemic helped that come into sharper focus for me, and like letting my mind truly grasp what that must have felt like and how terrifying a time when AIDS was just burning through so many men. Anyway.
Well, that's like, it kind of, there was another character, Dominic Weck's character. He was also diagnosed with HIV, but he's still alive to this day.
Yeah.
He was this, he said in the movie. Like, he was one of the first people in the UK diagnosed with HIV.
Yeah, he said he was number 2.
Yeah. So it goes to show you how unfair some aspects of life are.
Yeah. Man, they made the best of it. If it was anything like this movie, those moments where they are gathered, God, this movie also made me realize how much I miss people. Like since the pandemic, like we used to get together and do things with people, like in a group, like have a game night or whatever it was, drinking in the yard, whatever it was. I missed that so bad, and watching all these people crammed into that little house together and talking, and there's not enough room to even for everyone to sit down. I miss that, like that community. I don't have that. I mean, I have you guys, but there's just 3
You have your
4
Zoom
of us.
meetups. That's kind of
It's
like
different. There's something about people wandering in and out of a room and wandering outside and like falling into conversations with people who a guest brought along that you don't even know.
That's why Horror Hound is so magical.
I do love Horror Hound for that reason. But I miss that in my home, and I miss that in friends' homes. I feel like that's kind of died away.
Let's just open the door and like, hey,
come on in.
Come on in.
Freddie wants to come to your home.
Get alcohol.
Yeah, I'm going to come to your home. We used to have block parties. I grew up, I was spoiled. Like, we'd have block parties. They were nothing like what you're probably imagining. It was just somebody's door was unlocked, and we would be in that house because the door was unlocked and somebody had an Atari or whatever it was. But this movie, I love that vibe of just knowing your neighbors and feeling like maybe you can meet in the middle on something and do something. It's hard to do that on the internet when you're talking to people who are a country or a state away or whatever, like You're not as much as you have an online community and you share ideals and feelings together. There's something different about a literal community that you're a part of, you live in every day. Like what happens when the grid falls away, you know? Like if you didn't have that anymore, like do you have anybody?
Okay, well, to bring it back, I know this movie tells me that no matter what, there's somebody going to be there for you.
Yeah, people are generally good. I always believe that.
Well, I mean, look what happened with Damar Hamlin, and within a day, millions of dollars had been donated. People do lift each other up.
And it's so silly, but like when Cincinnati lit everything blue, it was just heartwarming to see everything come together.
There were billboards.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
They only had to turn the gold off from the Ukrainian flag to have the blue. It was already set up. So it was a nice switch over. You know,
those are the kindest billboards. Yeah.
We support blue causes.
Yeah, it's got to have blue in it.
Yeah.
It's national.
Fuck your breast cancer.
And another reason why I picked this movie is because it's a genre that I love. It's British blue collar working class movies.
The Full Monty.
The Full Monty.
But there's a ton
Billy
of them.
Elliot, Kinky Boots.
Waiting
Have you
at
ever seen
Divine?
Kinky Boots?
No.
Like Calendar Girls. Like,
yeah.
like
I've never seen
just-
Kinky Boots.
It's really good.
I've heard that's great. Is it the movie a musical too?
If there was a movie first, then there's a musical, I think.
But the movie itself is not a musical?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I just love those type of movies. It's very sweet and probably like whitewashed everything.
But they're good for your soul.
I would throw the boat that rocked in there, even though it's not about working class. Exactly.
Bill Nighy again.
Bill Nighy again.
Bill Nighy's a
Great British
surefire
movie, though.
indicator of a feel-good movie usually for me. If I see Bill Nighy's in it, I'm like, he tends to pick these movies where I come away like, God, I love Bill Nighy and I love everyone. Yeah.
He's like Mr. Rogers. He's just,
He is
you
like
see
Mr.
him
Rogers.
and you're just going to know everything's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys.
Bill Nighy.
You guys and your need for reassuring male role models.
It's true.
All this toxic masculinity, Amy, what we grew up with.
I know. So, yes, your daddy is Bill Nighy.
My daddy's Bill Nighy. Bill Nighy is my daddy.
I really enjoyed this movie, Eddie. Thank you.
I just hope it made everybody happy because
Yeah.
that's I think that's what everybody needed.
I
Gave
guess
me
it's
some
just
hope.
what I needed. I need Bill Nighy.
Every day, not just nightly.
Oh, am I next? Or
Yeah, you're
I'm
up next, baby boy.
Mine's I gave this a lot of thought about the pick.
You're picking right now. You're telling. You're previewing.
I'm sticking with Feel Good. At first, you helped me get here, Andy, with your pick because I was thinking Enter the Void, but that is not a feel good movie. So I'm going.
Is
with
that the
Gaspar Noé movie?
Yeah, I saw that.
I love that movie.
God damn, I'm glad you didn't pick that because
I don't want to watch this.
I don't need to see that again.
That movie I just saw for the first time last week, and I was blown away by that
It's
movie.
like I really appreciate the movie as a experiment and a piece of art.
Yeah.
But I don't never need to see it again.
I don't never.
And don't never. So I spared everyone that
Thank
and chose
you.
something fun
He
instead.
chose Irreversible.
Irreversible. No,
The
it's-
other
but-
Gaspar
I Enter the Void actually was fun for me though. It was like going on a trip.
It made me feel like I was high.
Yeah, it was great.
He did the same thing with that dance movie we did.
Climax.
Yeah, Climax. Which I need to rewatch now because I
he's-
think I'll enjoy it more.
He's good at making like cinematic LSD.
Yeah. This is similar in that it feels like cinematic LSD, but on a good trip and not a bad trip. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth
Yay! We were just talking about
never
this
seen this.
movie.
I just watched
I
it.
was
I'll
just
watch
saying
it again.
I've never seen it, and Alise was like, "Oh yeah," and I've always wanted to. I used to get that mixed up with the Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie too.
And Time Bandits.
Yeah.
I used to get the three of them they were a triumvirate of movies I mixed up with each other.
I just know the poster because I was in the video store all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Peter Weller.
It fits from all that stuff. But this movie is a lifelong favorite of mine. For some reason, did not get it's not a popular movie. I feel like it should be much more popular than it is.
Is it it's a cult movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Or-
kind of got a cult following.
but not as big as other
Right.
cult movies.
It's just like it should be like this should be something. It has its own identity. It's very different from anything you've ever seen.
All right.
It's a great, if you want to play along, it's on Pluto TV. You can watch it on there.
God, I love Pluto.
Pluto is great.
It is so great.
This has everyone in it. I'm not gonna even tell you. Don't even bother with the trailer.
Don't blow your load now.
All-star cast. You're gonna be like that guy.
Again, big cast.
Yeah, big cast. Great fun.
Woo. Big cast energy. Yeah, I popped on Pluto yesterday, and there's just a whole ass Chuck Norris channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I just
whole ass
plopped down for that.
Yep, she was watching Braddock 3, Missing in Action 3.
Uh-huh.
I think Amy found a new kink. She likes canon movies. I'm finding Amy has not seen Electric Boogaloo, which we got to watch. But she loves these movies. Like every time she stops on something, I'm like, that's another one of those movies from canon.
Hey, trash is good.
Canon movie. Yeah, I mean, that's a roll of the dice, but I have a lot of fondness for canon movies.
Not everything needs to be a Citizen Kane.
Oh God, no! The world would be so horrific.
We need our boogaloos too.
Insufferable. Okay. Well, at the end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP. Here is that list. Alise.
I'll see you soon.
Alyssa. Branan and Emily. Jeffel. Dustin. Iona Goodwin.
What?
Iona Goodwin. Dr. Brian. Bill. Bill Farner. Blake. Blayne Yogurt. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just being proud of myself for not
Jordache Jeans.
lengthening the proceedings by being
Paul. Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora.
This is a shit-eating grin.
Ernie.
Ew.
Dave Siebert. And Monica.
Oh, God bless each and every one of yous.
Oh, all of your little hearts.
Well, all right.
All right, then. We did it.
Thanks, Andy.
Good night, everyone. Thanks again, Andy.
Bye.
Bye.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed.